Whales deeply important to Inupiat for both survival and tradition. The bowhead whale is sacred to Inupiat villagers of the Chukchi Sea. They have lived in this part of Alaska for generations. The villagers' calendar revolves around seasons for hunting, fishing, and gathering. It is a lifestyle Alaskans call subsistence. Not only is this way of life a cultural tradition, it is an economic necessity in one of the state's most northern villages. About 900 people live in Point Hope. The village store prices are double what people pay 700 miles south in Anchorage. In most homes, wild and foraged food make up at least half of the menu. The few large bowhead whales hunted by the villagers each year supply thousands of pounds of dense protein. Beyond that, whale meat is considered an Alaska native soul food. Hunting, butchering, and distributing the animal, village leaders say, is how elders teach young people the culture. Without the whale, said Steve Omituk, the former mayor of the city and former vice president of the tribe, we wouldn't be who we are. Arctic ice is getting thinner. In recent years, however, the whale hunt has run up against a warming Arctic. The whaling crews have to pull the huge mammals onto the ice, which has become thinner and more unstable than ever. In the Point Hope region, spring and summer temperatures have been on a warming trend since the 1980s. What are now the average summer temperatures would have been close to record high temperatures in the mid-20th century, according to Rick Tommen, climate science and service manager for the National Weather Service in Alaska. Alaska Native cultures have adapted plenty over time and will continue to adapt. Climate change, however, poses a serious challenge to how people are used to getting their food in parts of Alaska, according to Nicole Bram. She studies subsistence activities for the state of Alaska. Ron Oviuk, Sr., 72, sat under a skin boat turned sideways to block the wind, going over the times he had helped bring in a whale. He can taste that whale meat kept in ice cellars is not staying as cold as it once did. He is not sure if the whale hunt will continue. Separate whaling feasts. Point Hope's people remain faithful to many long-held traditions. The town is still separated into two clans. Each clan has its own whaling cruise. Whaling feast activities happen at the same time every year. Feasts are held in two spots on either edge of town, one for each clan. When a whaling captain is successful, he distributes meat to his family, the families of the whaling crews, and the community right after the hunt and during feast time. Whale is also shared community-wide at Thanksgiving, Christmas, and when the sea ice first forms. This date seems to grow later each year. On the first day of the 3-day feast, four-wheelers buzz villagers to locations on the edge of town. On one side, whaling captain Clark Lane, his crew members and family rise in front of the crowd to offer prayers of thanks. Women handed out pink frosted cupcakes and mikigak, which is a whale meat preserved in barrels. People hold open Ziploc bags to get their mikigak. Mikigak is an inky black color. It is shiny and its texture is sort of like Jell-O. Its taste is herbal and sour. Here, it is a delicacy. Bowhead whales are a big part of the culture. Bowhead whales have been the center of life in Point Hope for more than 2,000 years. Many parts of the town, from the village homes to the drums used for song and dance, are made from parts of the whale. Curved bowhead jawbones, tall as trees, now mark the graves of whaling captains and encircle the town cemetery. The school mascots are the harpooners and the harpoonettes. Lane, a captain of one of the whaling crews, is also the vice president of the Point Hope village corporation called Tikigak. He began helping a whaling crew as a boy. He said, he never wanted to become a captain, but 4 years ago his mother chose him to do it. This crew is yours. You're taking it over no matter what, she told him. He leads a crew of 27. During the whaling season, which usually begins in April and lasts until June, 10 of his crew members will hunt at a time. paddling a skin boat. The whales are killed with harpoons. When they see a whale surfacing to breathe, they will chase it if they are close enough. Otherwise, they follow it, careful not to give themselves away by hitting the boat with their paddles. How to harpoon a whale. Harpooning requires practice. They must be within 10 feet of the animal to throw a harpoon. When it strikes the whale, a core filled with explosive powder detonates, usually killing the animal instantly. After that, the crew will haul the carcass onto the ice and slice the meat into pieces that can be taken to shore. The meat is given out and stored in ice cellars. Lane is responsible for keeping his crew fed during the hunt. If he did not have subsistence foods to share with them during that time, it would be too expensive to maintain. Sure, I go to the store and buy processed food, but I love my Inupiat food. I love the whale, beluga, I love the caribou, I love the walrus, I love the birds, all the birds. I love to pick their eggs, he said. He, too, has noticed big changes in the seasons and the ice, but he sees it as part of a long natural cycle. He is more concerned about an oil spill from an offshore Arctic drilling rig. He was not against drilling, he said, but he hoped it would be done more responsibly. Feeding a village. The third day of the feast was for giving thanks and games. Men drank coffee, ate, and talked. Women worked in a large outdoor kitchen, cutting meat from bearded seal, whale, and birds with sharp, round ulu blades. Whale meat and entrails boiled over open fires. In the afternoon, children lined up for the races across the grass. Clark's son Jacob watched the children play games. He used to care more about video games than whale hunting, but he has now changed his mind. He thinks distractions posed by technology are the biggest threat to traditions. It is the same technology that he allowed him to see how Inupiat whaling culture has been misunderstood by the outside world. It is not like commercial whaling or sport hunting, he said. They think that we're just killing them to kill them, he said. We're feeding a whole village.